Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. Respected chair of the session, respected co-chairs, honorable ministers present on the dais, my senior colleagues, and this august audience. Honorable Kedaji was very clear about what work of Chhattisgarh he wanted to showcase in this session. He clearly said, Rajesh, please avoid your technical fancy stuff that I usually show him, SCADA, IoT, AI, mega projects of interlinking of rivers, pumped irrigation, and yes, Chhattisgarh is doing all of this works. He wanted to showcase the more difficult and soft works that has positively impacted not only the farmers of the state, but also the Aam Janata of Chhattisgarh on the long term and not from a purely 5-year perspective. So I begin. Yeah, I'll take the slide. This was part of the old slide which he asked me to change. This is Maximus. He's my 3-year-old French Mastiff, and he really loves to have his dog food, which is made by Drools. Drools, as you see, is the largest made in India brand of dog and cat food. It has more than 40% of the market share of the dog food in the country and has presence in more than 22 countries across the globe. Let me ask you a KBC question. As to IB Corp, the parent company of Drools, is based out of which state in India? Yes, the answer is Ranjangaon district in the state of Chhattisgarh. A made in Chhattisgarh brand, which is made in India and made for the world. But what has Drools to do with Chhattisgarh's strategy for water storage infrastructure and augmenting water supply? Well, the story all begins from a small town called Ranjangaon in the state of central Chhattisgarh. Please note, I am using the Ranjangaon template to explain what we are doing in Chhattisgarh, because this is kind of the template that has been followed across the state in all the districts of the state. In order to successfully execute any sustainable, permanent, public or private initiative around water, we must grapple with these 5 elements: water, state, civil society, farmer, and private enterprise. And yes, they have to work in synergy, otherwise nothing is going to get done. Something about Ranjangaon. Ranjangaon is a small left-wing affected district, shares borders with Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Its economy is primary agrarian, very much typical of India. Its 1.6 million population mostly dependent on paddy cultivation. Although the amount of rainfall in Ranjangaon is significant, however, it's spread over an increasingly shorter period of time. There has been significant water stress due to less storage and recharge practices in the past, as well as water-intensive practices such as paddy cultivation, especially in Rabi. This problem has been more aggravated because of the policy of the government to procure 100% of the paddy grown in the Kharif season at remunerative prices which are way above the MSP. So what is the problem statement? Although Kharif cultivation is done through rainfall and assured surface irrigation, Rabi cultivation, which is primarily paddy, is increasingly being based out of groundwater extraction. There are nearly 42,000 borewells in Ranjangaon that are extracting the groundwater. The levels have fallen drastically, as the CGWB report of 2023, if I'm not mistaken, identified out of the 4 blocks of Ranjangaon, 3 in the semi-critical category. In fact, the CWC chairman was doing his presentation on groundwater critical zones. There was a small red area in the Chhattisgarh part of the country. So the challenge or the problem statement was how to convince the farmers to either completely stop doing paddy in the Rabi season or to do crop diversification, and second, how to ensure community engagement in the drive for water conservation and recharge. This was the whole intent, to salvage the situation of depleting groundwater levels and bringing sustainable extraction practices. Thus was born the 10-point program. It was very much coterminous with JSA-CTR. The 10-point program was kind of designed to address both the demand and supply side of the problem. It started with basically targeting and baseline survey, where targeted villages were identified with the help of PHE, Janpad COs, multi-village schemes villages. liniment fracture zone villages, water scarcity villages, drainage network villages. All this led to the scientific processing under the Manrega scheme, which eventually led to the preparation of maps by overlaying over cadastral and satellite data, and finally leading to the identification of creation of water recharge structures, where to be exactly located. This led to an integrated approach of convergence, a building of massive number of water recharge and recharge structures under the technical guidance of, interestingly, WRD, CGWB, RES, everybody was involved. We had a massive crop diversification exercise, a massive plantation exercise, and finally, yes, a massive involvement of the community, especially women folk, in bringing about water conservation practices. This campaign was successfully executed under the JSS-CTR flag from the year 2022, if I'm not mistaken, under the dynamic leadership of the then and now collectors and CO Jila Panchayats. This slide basically describes the step-by-step implementation of the initiative. Villages were identified into 1 or 3 gram panchayats with greater recharge capabilities using Sentinel satellite data, DEM data, then doing it over the drainage pattern map, and then going on to the Bhuya land cadastral maps, and finally exactly locating into which area what structure has to be built. This was given to the implementing agencies, whether it be under Manrega or under departmental schemes or whatever it is, and the structures were executed under various mechanisms. So what was the pre and post implementation scenario? The pre-implementation scenario I have been telling you: significant groundwater depletion, no scientific analysis of water resource mapping, no significant community and stakeholder engagement. Rajnandgaon was one of the most water exploited areas in central Chhattisgarh. What happened post-implementation? Yes, we made an amazing 52,000 number of structures across the district, 13,000 acres, and increased the water capacity by nearly 70 lakh meter cube. The second was the massive community participation, which we call Fasal Sangoshtis, which were held in nearly 5,300 community meetings across 662 villages and covering nearly 1,20,000 villages, each of them sitting and discussing, debating on what are the methods that the village should use for water conservation and recharge structures. The Honorable Minister of Jal Shakti, Patilji, the Honorable CM visited this amazing work happening in Rajnandgaon last year also, and they appreciated the work that was being done, especially in the defunct borewell recharge shafts, which we are getting patented as of now. But the most significant outcome, which I would like to proudly showcase in this forum is, and this has been statistically data-wise been proven, in September 2023, the groundwater levels of Rajnandgaon district was recorded at a concerning 14.68 meters MBGL, signaling a significant depletion of this vital resource. However, by September 2024, there was a notable improvement in groundwater levels across the district by nearly 2.04 meters below ground level. This is amazing work that has happened. This positive trend shows the effectiveness of rainfall and water conservation measures implemented in the region. So what was leading to all this miraculous work happening in the district? Obviously, teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. 12 departments, numerous central agencies, CGWD, civil society organizations, everybody gelled together to get this job done. So what was the outcome? Yes, quantifiably, we have proven the water levels in the district has risen, and obviously, that is why under JSGAB, Chhattisgarh is like first in all the categories. Recognition, that is the most important. I was describing Rajnandgaon, another lady collector in Dhamtari district gets the Prime Minister's Excellence Award in Good Governance, especially for the work in water conservation this year. This was a recognition that Chhattisgarh has got for the work that was being done. So finally, coming to the question, why did I show Maximus and rules in the first place? I think I just explained the supply side of the problem. There was a notable work done in the demand side also. Despite numerous supply side interventions, we were grappling with the problem of how to stop the farmers from producing paddy in the Rabi season. In this exercise, we realized that farmers are excellently good in producing crops. We also realized that farmers are exceptionally good in mathematics. Although they realized the ills of depleting groundwater levels, they did not want to give up paddy cultivation and rabi due to the attractive prices which increased their disposable income. So here it comes into the picture IB Corp, the manufacturers of drools. In fact, they are also the biggest manufacturer of edible oils in the central part of India. And the main input for edible oils is maize. The district administration facilitated the buyer and the producer interface. Farmers shifted from paddy to maize, and with an assured buyer, they all agreed to happily join hands in the water conservation efforts. So it was reform, perform, and transform. I once again say that behavioral change achieved through democratic information networks tends to be slower in producing results as compared to top-down approaches. However, outcomes are more resilient and enduring. The society benefits at large, the farmers are happy, and the private enterprise grows its output, leading to more jobs, increase in the state GSDP, more food. So end of the day, thus Maximus is happy enjoying his food, which in turn keeps my younger daughter Genevieve happy, which in turn keeps me smiling during most of this presentation. Thank you so much for giving the time.